Dracula's. It's taken a while to get out here because of this heat that we have had, and I've spent an awful lot of time trying to keep the temps down. Finally succeeding in the Dracula house. I'm managing to keep the temperature, it hasn't gone over 23 degrees in the whole of the time this heat has been running, but it's really well shaded on 3 sides by, if it's not a fence it's a shed, if it's not a shed it's a longer greenhouse. So, and the actual greenhouse is shaded up to the eaves inside, so it's just the roof we have to concentrate in. But I think this is the first summer I've managed to contain it like it is, and the fogger's doing its job and running that more, and it's helping with the Draculas as well. My problem with that house is it's not big enough. Or it's big enough, I've got too many orchids, one or the other, but I'd rather, it's not big enough because you can never have too many orchids in my book. So until I'm physically incapable of doing them anymore, it will always be the way. Apart from which, I think after this year you don't know what you're going to be able to get hold of anyway. So, and what I should be saying is can't get hold of anything because I don't need any more. But you never know what happens. I know me. So anyway, what we're looking at in here before we look at the other stuff next door, we're in the warm house. We're not, we're in the intermediate house. Sorry, I lied. And we've got 5 Draculas in here. The Sawley Eyes are in here. I've got 3 of those. And a friend gave me a division of his, which is doing really, really well. Eye. Never grown that one before, but it's now we've got in there 6 new spikes from his division. He's made those mesh pots. You can see he's clipped them together with the plastic ties. Done a really good job too, and it works well. But they're hanging from the bench because they get the blast from the fogger. And these rainforest jobs like getting that. This one is a bit tatty. It's quite old actually, but I've changed where I've kept it. Vespertilio intermediate. It's picking up now. New growth, lots of new growth, doing really well. So it's preferring this. I don't know why I was growing it in the warm house. I really don't know why I put it there. But it has flowered before. It just hasn't flowered this year because it was had a major overhaul last year. But it's now picking up, and we've got a nice new growth coming on it. The Sawley Eyes, I think they've all got flower spikes. Problem I have with this is getting the flower spikes to flower instead of them aborting. But since I hung them on the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, there's a little cluster of 4 there, so there's 9. Since I've hung them on the shelf so they get blasted by the fogger when it's on in the heat, they are doing so much better, and they're maintaining and growing their flower spikes. So it's a bit fussy, this one, if it's not right, but again, we've got another 2, 3, 4, 5 there. I shan't hold my breath with this one until it actually flowers. This one has had a flower on it, only one, but that's gone. This is another one, came from this, oh, Oh. The hanger's not working on there. It's come out. That's the only trouble with these homemade ones. They don't hold fast on the hangers. They're a pain. But here, Alan, who gave me that split, also gave me a split of his Sorlii. And this one is maintaining its flower spike and growing. There's another one there. I don't think that's one. So this is from a new split, so it's quite good to have 2 or 3 flower spikes on. And we'll put you back there as well. So I've also got a no ID Mazi Flower. Lovely colour. This has got to be, in my book, I don't know what anybody else thinks, especially Mick and Christine, because Christine grows Decumana, and I don't know if Mick does, but if you grow Mazzies, you can look at them and sometimes you can say, that's got so-and-so in it. And to me, I'm looking at this and it's got Decumana in it. But then seeing all those spots, it could have something about Floribunda in it as well. But Floribunda is a bit small, but then this is a bit small. But Decumana's not big. I never thought about Floribunda actually. But it'd be good to see what other people think. It's tiny little pot. It came free with some orchids that I bought, and I've got 4 flower spikes on it, and then 2 have flowered already. So for a dinky little plant like that, it's doing quite well. Right, hi viewers. We're out in the Mazi and Dracula house. Doing bits and pieces I've been doing today and putting them together for you. It's all a bit bitty out here at times, and being able to get to things easily, it's not always possible. And I've got a surprise to add to the end as well. But in your picture you can see Robaldorum, Dracula Robaldorum, and he's opening his first of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 flower spikes. He's never had that many flower spikes. Look at this little beauty. Lovely species. Very colourful, not giant, but very colourful nonetheless. And hairy as well. As you can see, it's got the sort of shape that the back of Dracula has got, just not on such a bigger scale. So, and he's in for a shock, because once these flowers have gone, I'm going to have to cut that pot so that I don't lose any growths. Get him out of there, find a bigger mesh pot to put him in, because he needs a rest, and I can't believe how many flowers he's got. I can't remember the last time I saw that many growths on a Dracula. It was on Chimera. It was several years ago. But we've got a nice big giant Dracula floor. I can't put that there. I can't put that there. I'll put that there for a minute. In my little moss ball pot. Let's bring it into the zoom out a bit, because we'll never see him otherwise. Because he's a huge flower, this boy. As you can see, one of his tails is not there. Don't know why, but he's got that lovely dome shape on the back. This is the most temperamental of Draculas you will ever find. But he is a stunner when he's opened, but I've found something that's even more of a stunner now. And you'll see what I mean later. So he's got to go back and hang up in his place. But bear with me on this because there's lots that I've put together in such a way that we haven't got to suffer moving around all of the time out here because it's not easy. So let's get on with the journey. And here's another giant beauty. This is a Chimera, Dracula Chimera. It is a huge flower. But Equigenera developed an extra large clone and I bought one from Trey Sanders last year. That is a huge, huge flower. The normal Chimera is not that big. So it's on a very short stem. Not so sure that shouldn't be a bit longer. But it's doing okay, and I can't see any other flower spikes. So also hanging on his pot is a Masdevallia racemosa. It's beautiful Masdevallia, never flowered it. I need to get it on a mount going lengthways because as you can see it's got a crawling habit. It's a beautiful red flower. It's a small plant but it has giant flowers, lovely red colours. So I've had it for 2 years ago, June, Melbourne. And it's taken me this far to get it, but now I understand it and now I know what I'm going to do. So I'm going to get that one off of there and mounted the other way so that it can crawl from one end to the other. Velutina in the background there. Its last flower you can see furthest away, all the rest have gone. So we won't be having any more on that till later. Here, up here, we've got my Benedikte Eye. And this is the one I didn't think would flower. Look at how many it's flowered so far. There's 4 there. We've got another baby spike there. Flowered one in there. Another one coming out of there. Whether that'll grow up or not, I don't know. See if I can get it out of the moss. Come on. Dinky flower. There. That's him out of the moss. But considering I pulled this part off of a mount, got rid of every dead bit of centre and put it in a basket to spread, I never expected that, so I'm very pleased with that. He is doing well. Just an extra bit that I'm redoing because for some obscure reason yesterday I decided it was a good idea to film in portrait format instead of landscape. And I ditched most of it apart from one bit you'll find which is an unopened flower bud, and obviously I can't redo that because the flower bud's opened and I've shown you on the video. So my apologies guys, that it went through, and I do know it was in portrait format. I did correct the rest. Lost the will to live eventually. But I also did a bit in there about the Spanish moss and how it helps. Bobby J made me think about it when he bought some and had a huge piece, and he said how fragrant it was. And there's no flowers on bits in this house, but I'm just filming this bit so that you can see how I'm using it out here. I've got it up there. I've got that, it's hanging literally from the crossbars, which if I do that, you can see in the roof. And when I break a bit off, if it gets too long, I hang it over the bars. if I don't want to hang plants over there. And you walk through a mirror of it, curtain of it, because it's all down there as well. And there's a bit to the side that's got plants hanging in various ways down it, because it's all to do with humidity and what I need for these Draculas. The fogger is at the bottom, just in front of my toe, and it blasts it out quite well, which is why there's plants hanging down there. Let's lower you again. And they stay in line of the fogger because they come from montane forest, so they like the humidity, they like the blast. The Masdevallias do quite well with it, so in this weather and the weather that we've had, it is going quite a lot. But I find that the Spanish moss, what I do as well as use the fogger is I spray the whole lot on a warm day, or if I know it's going to be hot, I spray the whole lot when I'm spraying the plants in here, the hanging plants, because they're sprayed every day. I do a lot of foliar spraying in here quite randomly for the Mazis as well, so it drips it in here and then the fogger keeps it going. Magical stuff. But my apologies for the bit before this, which is not how it should have been. So, note to self, must try harder, or remember things the right way round, then I wouldn't have to keep repeating them, would I? But there you have it. There are more new flower spikes that we've got coming, but I won't go into those today. I've done the good ones, the ones that are really at an interesting stage. The Vampira, the Rhododorum, Chimera, Benedikte Eye, Chestertonii. Oh, actually, let's actually move you forward without not sitting this too much, because he's down here getting the blasts from the fogger as well. No, that's not him. That's Chimera. Where is he? Is he down there? Excuse me, Vampira. No, that's not him. Lord knows where I put him yesterday. This is Dracula astuta. Oh yeah, this was another one I was going to film. That was why. Because, let's miss that out a bit. As you can see, we have a Dracula. It needs repotting. Hasn't been repotted yet. I was going to do it, but these flower spikes came up. Mesh pots. Lots of holes everywhere. Bottom, sides. And what does this Dracula decide to do? 3 shoots up the top. Some naturally grow out the top. But when I watched a video that Equigenera posted on YouTube about their Draculas and the way they grow them, there's not one single one of their Draculas that's grown in a mesh pot. All of their Draculas are grown in sealed pots, and the flowers have to work their way out of the top. And believe it or not, they do. What I don't know is where I have put my Chestertonii, because I was going to show you its flower spike. Because that's Chimera. That's not Chestertonii. Right, now I've got it. Here it is. Hung it in completely the wrong place when I looked at it yesterday. But it's growing on. Still don't know whether it will be Chestertonii. But it's supposed to be. So now I'll hang him back where he's meant to be, in front of that fogger. Now I'll go back and try and finish this video off. Sorry for the rambling, guys. Going mad. Bad day. Don't know what to do. Well, I've just come in the cool house to see what's wants watering. In the video that I took yesterday of the Draculas, I filmed this one with its giant pod. When I say pod, it's not a pod, but it's it before it opened. And I did tell you that it was, excuse me, Dracula Chimera extra big. It's not big, it's humongous. That is the biggest flower I have ever seen. And they said it was a big clone, and by gad, they weren't wrong. Just look at that. If you ever get the chance, and Trey Sanders had this in stock because that's where I got it from. Just look at those hairs. Oh my word, what is there to say? Just look at it. That flower, it's got to measure 8 inches. The tails are huge. I can't lay it down in such a way that I can measure it. But there's the top tail. You hold out the bottom tail. I've never seen anything like it. That looks plain and ordinary, doesn't it? Until you do this. Which I don't want to do too often because I don't want to bruise the... Wow. I think there's one word to describe it, and it's gobsmacked. Because it's a beaut. Right, now I've hung that up there so that hopefully we can see how big it is. And you'll have seen the introduction to it. What I've been trying to come out here and do is give you a comparison on the size. But I look at the size of that flower. I measured it, and from there to there, it's just over 4 inches. So he's a beaut. You've already seen him from several angles, but I just wanted to do a hand comparison. So I got the monopod out, which I knew would go up as high as I wanted to go, and came back out and did it. But oh my word, the thing that gets me about this is just the hairs and stuff that you can pick up. Look at that face, it's orange, it's yellow, the eyes, the nose, the big lip. So I reckon we've got, with those tails, I reckon each of those tails is 4 inches, and I reckon that's 4 inches. So I reckon you've got almost 12 inches there. That is one big old Dracula. It's certainly the biggest one I've seen. It's bigger than Vampira, but they cloned Equigenera. I've obviously been trying a while to do a big clone, and they've succeeded. I bought this one last year, as I said. Even on the back, I mean, even on the back, look. At the colour and everything that's going on there. That is an absolute beauty. I'll never tire of it. Never tire. That is one to get hold of.